Well, the prostitute now, who's accused of shooting up a Google executive with heroin, then leaving his body there on his own yacht, says she was not the only prostitute to visit the man's boat. Her lawyer claims other women may have done drugs with the victim before he died. Now a judge has reportedly ordered prosecutors to turn over any evidence that backs up that claim. This all went down last November in Northern California. We covered it extensively here. Investigators say surveillance video shows the woman injecting a man with a lethal dose of heroin. Then after he passed out from that overdose, they say this woman gathered her stuff, stepped over his body to finish her glass of wine, then cleaned up a counter and lowered a blind before calmly leaving. Investigators have not yet released that video to the public, but the woman's lawyer claims it proves beyond any doubt that the man's death was an accident and shows total panic when it happened. She faces up to 15 years in prison, but there's more here. Police in Georgia say they're looking into the death of the suspect's ex-boyfriend. A couple of months before this incident out in California, the ex-boyfriend died of a drug overdose. Again, she was there. That time, she is said to have told investigators that she found her ex on the ground, that he'd been drinking and shooting up all day. Let's bring in a lawyer. Pilar Prince is a criminal defense attorney and live with us this afternoon. A lot of people dying around her with all kinds of heroin up in them, but I wonder if these new claims are going to help at all.
Well, Shep, this new claim that somebody else may have been involved, it really, in my opinion, doesn't do much for her. That's why the law has something called manslaughter. It doesn't have to be that she intended to kill him, but if she shows what's a conscious disregard for human life, that's manslaughter. Her actions in cleaning up after herself and picking up her heroin and closing the blinds as she left suggests that this is a woman who really had a callous disregard for this man's life.
And yet her attorney says that there was panic, that she was very upset, that she ran out of the room and all that. The investigators, though, have told us that this was a very calm thing. I mean, as heroin folks are often want to be, I guess. But at any rate, this matter of finishing the wine with a body there on the floor, that's not going to help at all with jurors.
It's not going to help at all, and the jury's going to say, what would a reasonable person do in her situation? And if this prior death comes in, then it's going to show what's called modus operandi, which is that this woman is exhibiting within 2 months' time, 2 different men die under her watch, so to speak, of heroin overdose. And what does she do? She walks out of the room and she doesn't even call the police for help?
But prior acts are usually not admissible, right? Especially given that she wasn't charged with anything there. This ex-boyfriend who died, will jurors ever know about that?
Well, it depends. Prior acts generally are not admissible, except they can come in for things like showing modus operandi. If this is something that this woman has made a habit of doing, is injecting heroin into men, and then when they overdose, she leaves and doesn't do anything to help them, it might be able to come in.
Well, that'll be interesting to see, because if it does, that could change things significantly. Pilar Prince, good to see you again.
Thanks, Shep.